Alright, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicerius. Let's get this video started. So, today I wanted to make a video kind of talking about some of the easy ways you can start making money as a new player in Elite Dangerous. Talk about a few things, but if you just want to skip straight to it, there'll be, chapter system. You can skip straight to the first section, but I want to talk about a few things first. So, one of the things I've noticed over my past month and some odd weeks of playing the game really, really playing the game really hardcore, grinding a lot, is that finding up-to-date information that's actually beginner friendly for this game is like really difficult actually. So I wanted to start making a couple videos, maybe trying to help ease some other new players in from a new player perspective, right? I've only been playing for a month, I'm still very new, so don't take my words as gospel or anything like that, but just want to essentially relay to you guys the things that work for me and will hopefully also work for you. But let's go ahead and get into the first section of the video, which is going to be pirate hunting or bounty farming. In my opinion, one of the easiest ways for a new player to start making money in Elite Dangerous and start getting a cash flow going is to hunt pirates to collect their bounty vouchers. Now, when you do collect a bounty voucher, you do not get money right away. You do have to return to a starport, go to the contacts tab, go to the administrative contact, and then go to the bounty vouchers tab and redeem the bounty vouchers. So just be aware of that. If your ship gets shot down while you have bounty vouchers on you, those bounty vouchers will be lost. So make sure you turn in your bounty vouchers whenever you have an amount you're not comfortable losing. You can always check how much you have in bounties in your left menu in the transactions tab. Just make sure you turn those in before you lose them. Now, that said, as a completely new player, as I am assuming you are, even in the default Sidewinder, you may be worried that I'm asking you to throw yourself to the wolves and do buyer hunting, right? But don't worry. As long as you are patient and you do it right, pirate hunting can be very safe and very low risk for you, as long as you essentially rely on the system authority vessels, aka, as I like to call it, leeching off the cops. And again, you can do this in the default Sidewinder, which I will be showing you. I literally just bought a new Sidewinder and took it out completely. Default settings, got the default pulse lasers, all default internals, and I will be showing you this. So to get started, you're going to want to either go to a local nav beacon or go to a resource extraction site. One thing to mention, if you do want to go to a resource extraction site, you will want to go to a low risk one, just to play it safe. Now personally, I do prefer that over the going to a nav beacon. I find it a little more consistent, but again, just make sure you go to a low risk one if you do. Now, once you're either at the nav beacon or at the resource site, essentially what you're going to want to do is fly around and look for a system authority vessel that's hunting pirates, that's in combat with pirates. So, essentially look for laser fire, look for anything like that, and then go check it out. So what you're going to do once you see a cop, don't shoot the cops for one. That won't end well for you. But scan whatever they're firing at. Make sure you do fully scan it before you open fire, because if you do shoot a ship before you fully scanned it, even if they are wounded, the cops will put a bounty on you and they will destroy you as well. So make sure you're very careful about that. And then if you really want to be very safe, you could either open fire right away and help the pirates, help the cops actively, or you can wait till the system authority vessels already have the pirate low. And as long as you do any damage to it at all before his 0% hull, you will get the bounty as well. And you can do this to get enough money to either buy yourself a better combat ship and start more actively engaging in pirate hunting, or you can move on to a different money-making method. Now, if you do want to get a better combat ship, I would personally recommend a Viper Mark III. I'll link the build that I used for a while in the video comments and description. So if you do want to do that, go check that out. You obviously don't need to copy paste my build, but just remember, especially if you are collecting bounties and you're a new player, just be patient, right? Just be patient, wait for the cops to get them low, take a few pot shots, and collect your money nice and safe. And that said, that's pretty much all there really is to talk about for this method. So next, let's move on to sort of the next step, or slightly more profitable, trading. So the easiest step up from hunting level pirates is going to be trading. Now, trading is very, very simple. Essentially, for trading, all you do is you buy commodities from one port and then take and sell them at another port for a higher price, right? Very simple, very easy. But there are a few things you need to know. So first of all, in terms of ships you're obviously going to need a dedicated, cargo ship. And as a starting ship, you have a couple options. You could either go super, super cheap and buy yourself a hauler. This is, the most cheapest basic transport ship, cargo ship you can get. And personally, I would recommend you save up, via pirate hunting and get yourself something like the Type 6 transporter, which holds more cargo, and it's generally going to be better for trading. But you could also just use a hauler to work your way up. And from the Type 6 transporter, I would kind of just recommend skipping straight to a Python. And the Python is going to be the best medium-sized trading ship you can get. It does have a rather steep base price of 48 million, and you'll have to pay some extra for internals. But this is the best medium trading ship you can get, and as long as you're doing decent trading routes, it won't take you that long to get it either. Now, that said, in terms of actually finding things to trade for, you have a couple options. One, you can look at the galaxy map and look for trade routes, look for import-export routes. As you can see here on the trading route in the system, there's some trade, some exports going here. You can see there's a lot of stuff that's exported into the system here, which isn't actually leveled for me right now. But so you can use that. And you can also just simply look in the commodity market itself and look for things that are being sold for cheap. And as you can see, the commodity market will also tell you the price of some nearby systems. So for example, the agronomic treatments here, I can buy them for 5,800. And there's a couple of systems nearby where I can sell them for a profit. There's one system 8 light years away that I can sell them for 34,000. Another system 11 light years away I can sell for 14,000. So on and so forth. But personally, I would recommend you just simply use a trading site that can tell you, the best trade routes. I'll link one below from anar.cz. Very useful trading tool. You can put in your landing pad size, your cargo size, and how big of a distance you want to cover at most, and it'll give you the best trade route available for you. And in terms of actually trading itself, again, this is very simple. You buy them at one market, sell them at the other, but you do have to be aware that pirates may try to steal your cargo, right? And even in Super Cruise, they may try to interdict you out of Super Cruise, literally pull you out of Super Cruise and try to destroy you, or ask you to drop your cargo. So just be aware that trading does come with that risk, and be sure that you're okay with taking that risk, right? But that said, it is a nice step up from just hunting level pirates in general in terms of credits per hour, and it does depend on a few variables, but it is generally going to be better. Now that said, the next thing we're going to talk about, and this is going to generally be a pretty big step up from just basic trading for most of the time, but it also has a much higher barrier to entry to either of the other methods we talked about so far. So this one actually might take a while to get to, and I'm talking about Robigo passenger runs. So for the last mission video, we're going to be talking about Robigo passenger missions, which is quite literally just taking passengers from the Robigo mines to the Sirius Atmospheric Tourist Beacon in the Sothis system, which is specifically next to Sothis A5. Now, the first thing you do, or that I'm going to recommend you do once you have your ship for this method, is essentially just do a dry run from the Robigo mines again in the Robigo system to again Sothis A5 in the Sothis system, and also pick out the beacon itself. That way you just know where everything is and you know exactly what you're doing. And while you do so, I highly recommend you go ahead and bookmark both the Robigo mines and Sothis A5, and then also rename those bookmarks so that they'll be at the top of your list. And for example, I put an A in front of mine. This way you can easily just open the galaxy map, go to the bookmarks, and it's right there at the top of your list. You don't have to double check and see exactly where it is. It's right there for you. Very easy. Just smooths things out a lot. Now, you have two primary options for ships here. The budget option is going to be a Type 6 transporter. It holds a decent amount of passengers, but is going to be a little more inconvenient, and it's also not going to hold as many passengers as a Python, which is the other option. Now, if you really want to optimize this with a Python, You can get an engineered frameshift drive, either an increased range G5 with Mass Manager, or you can use the pre-engineered frameshift drive from any human technology broker. I'll put the materials required for that trade on screen right now, and I will have builds for both of these linked below, because I don't want to go too much into details right now to save time. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I can explain anything you're curious about. Now, that said, let's get into how you actually run these. So once you're at Robigo Mines, you're going to want to go to the passenger lounge, want to go to personal transportation, and then you're going to look for missions that are going to Sirius Atmospherics. I've already taken a few, but there are a few things to note about these missions. One, you can see that these have crowns, and some also have schools. Crowns means that these are VIPs. This means they will not share cabins with any other groups ever. And the schools mean that these passengers are criminals, right? So if you get scanned, they'll be mad about it and you'll fail the mission. Now, that said, I farmed over 1 billion credits here at Robigo, and I've quite literally never been scanned, right? So it's not really that big of a deal, but just be aware of it, right? So, and the way I like to take these missions is essentially, I go through, I look for the highest value missions first, so I start like 5 million or plus, and then I go to 4 million, and then 3 million, so on and so forth, right? And I just scroll down for, nothing, 5 million, right? Yeah, nothing for 5 million, you scroll back up, nothing for 4 million right now. Pretty unlucky set of missions for myself. Now I just kind of start taking anything that's worth at least 3 million, right? I just autofill. I'm pretty lazy about this. I just autofill and accept. And then, once I've filled my passenger cabins, I go ahead and leave. So, and once you have filled your passenger cabins and you're ready to head to Sothis, right? So now, once you've arrived at Sothis, you're going to want to head towards Sothis A5, as I mentioned earlier. So this is where the Sirius Atmospherics beacon is. Now, a few things to note about Sirius Atmospherics is that you can't actually see Sirius Atmospherics until you're within 1,000 light seconds of it. As you can see on my navigation menu, I can't actually see it, even and points of interest are turned on, but it won't appear in my navigation until I've got within 1,000 light seconds of it. So once you get within 1,000 light seconds, go ahead and lock on the Sirius Atmospherics. Personally, I recommend Super Cruise for this, so you can be lazy, but if you don't want it, you don't have to run it, right? Now, once you've actually reached Sirius Atmospherics, you've got next to Sothis A5, and you're here. Once you get in, once you drop out of Super Cruise, the first thing you want to do is going to immediately lock onto the beacon and scan, and start to scan, right? And then open the galaxy map, and then go ahead and select Robigo Mines from your bookmarks. Let the scan finish, and then you start heading back. And that's quite literally it. That's all you have to do. Now, one quick tip, as you'll see here in just a moment, while you're heading past the star to return to the Robigo, or heading to Sothis, what you can do is, if you have heat sinks on, you can kind of just essentially squeeze past the star, and your heat will be going up. And then as soon as you can, start your frameshift drive to jump back or jump to Sothis, and then you can pop a heat sink, right? This will get your heat down, but you'll be able to get past the star and to the next system a lot faster. Now, you don't have to do this. Consider just, it doesn't save very much time, a couple seconds at most. I like to do it, but you obviously don't have to. Do whatever is most comfortable for you. But, and that's pretty much it, right? You just head back to Robigo and collect your money, turn in the missions and collect your money. Or your materials if you want them. One thing to note about these missions is you can get G5 materials. Specifically, you can get biotech conductors, exquisite focus crystals, and some encoded material that I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Now, and that again, that's pretty much it. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. One thing I've noticed with this video is that making videos for Elite Dangerous is much harder than making videos for any other game I've made so far. So I'm sure there are things I probably left out or kind of accidentally glossed over. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer your questions in the comments, all right? But that's going to be it for this videos. I hope you guys found it helpful. I hope I explained things well, but I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy and have a good one, everybody.